At this point, bro, I mean, like, it's it, every day is something new, bro. So let's fucking check it out, bro.
Marvel Rivals has a mutant problem. And today I want to talk about it because not
Go
only
ahead,
has it
bro.
become
Talk
a
about it.
very
Talk about it.
large topic in the Marvel Rivals community, but I also keep seeing comments and discussions of people debating it back and forth on my own channel. Damn, I feel like some people in this community are really role-playing Scarlet Witch with the No More Mutants line. So today we're going to take a look at both sides and decide if Marvel Rivals needs to take a break from adding mutants, or is this whole situation simply blown out of proportion? Go ahead and let me know down below. Are there too many muties in this game? Actually, if mutants existed in real life, would the word mutant become a derogatory term? That's it, you can't say it with the hard T. It really does feel like part of the hatred for mutants that's been shown in the comics has manifested itself into reality with how people online are talking about this subject. Next, we're gonna have Captain America roll up on a podium and say, "These damn mutants are stealing all our roles." Enough jokes though, let's get into the main controversy. And surprisingly, this discussion actually started a few months ago when Cyclops got announced. And back then, people would probably laugh at you for pointing out the fact that there's too many mutants in the game or there's too many X-Men. People would almost get annoyed at you for even mentioning it.
That's
But there's
true.
been a little bit of a
I remember
pendulum
that.
swing over the last couple of weeks because since that time, we are basically set to get a mutant character for every season until the end of the year. We had Cyclops not too long ago, we got Jubilee this season, and now we're getting Nightcrawler next season. Now people are also throwing around the rumors that
Wait, what?
Dazzler, who is also a mutant, is coming in season 11 alongside Doctor Doom, which I personally don't know if I believe that because I think it's possible
Dazzler?
we only get one character that season, but having Dazzler, I think would send these people over the edge. I constantly see posts about this topic, and before the people who didn't really want mutants in the game were in a minority, well, now there's actually been a larger group of people who want heroes for other groups. They want characters for other groups and other teams in Marvel. You know, you got groups like Midnight Suns or Thunderbolts,
I
and
mean,
even the Avengers.
I mean, then again, though, yeah. I mean, what, bro? You have a whole. I mean, bro, Marvel literally has a whole roster to work with. Like they have a, bro. I don't even know how many people they have in Rivals right now, but they don't even have every member of every team. Like they don't have every. Well, let me think about it. Let me think about it. Yeah, no, they don't have every member of every team, bro. Like they even like I mean Captain Marvel, like you just said, like Captain Marvel's technically a part of the Avengers. You know what I mean? So she's not in the game. Hella X-Men, as you already said, aren't in the game yet. They're adding more X-Men, which is the fucking purpose of the video. But anyways, bro, like nah, that I mean, bro, like what is the point, bro? Like then again, I'm not mad that they're adding X-Men, but one each season is kind of insane. Like maybe one every other season because there's so many X-Men, so much to work with. Like there's literally so many characters to work with. So like I feel like if you spaced it out, then people wouldn't be as mad. But if you're giving us one X-Men character each season, that's kind of odd, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Need more love in this game. We haven't had a new Avenger character added in almost like a year. I'm counting Ultron in this because he's an Avenger
So I was right.
villain, unlike Doom, who is a Fantastic Four villain, even though he's featured in the new Avengers movie. But all I gotta say is hear me out here. If we just add Quicksilver, we can get the best of both worlds where we get an Avenger and an X-Men 2-for-1 combo that makes everybody happy. What could possibly go wrong by adding a character who travels at Mark 5 to the game? I'm sure he wouldn't be as big of a problem as Black Cat or Black Panther, and he definitely wouldn't make strategists crash out. But if you've watched this channel before, you know I'm somewhat of a mutant propagandist, and I've been really happy over the last few seasons. I grew up on the X-Men cartoons, I was homeschooled, and we didn't have cable television up north where I was living in Canada, so I had a DVD player and my brother's CDs.
Canada,
He
huh?
had the X-Men Evolution shows, he had Wolverine in the X-Men TV shows, and
Bro,
between that
hold up,
cable television up north where I was living in
hold
Canada,
up.
so
This
I had a
nigga,
DVD player and my brother's CDs. He had the
that is a fucking deep cut, and they have the brown Wolverine, bro. Y'all don't even know. Y'all don't even know. Like this is, oh my god, bro. Oh
X-Men
my god,
Evolution
it's a
shows,
deep
he
cut,
had
bro.
Wolverine in the X-Men
I
TV
didn't watch
shows,
that one
and
though.
between
This
that
one.
and the Clone Wars, and some VHS tapes of movies from the 80s, That's pretty much all I watched as a kid. So X-Men will always have a very special place in my heart. But people are right to point out that X-Men have been getting a lot of love over the last couple of seasons, much more so than other groups. And that leads us very nicely into the next part of this video. Why are the devs adding so many of these characters? Because there's actually very many good reasons for it. It goes much further than simply just favoritism. The first actually comes down to nothing to do with NetEase. It comes down to Disney itself and its attempt to suppress the X-Men in their comics and merchandise, and yes, even in games as well. And this goes back to the big rivalry, no pun intended, with 20th Century Fox, where Disney didn't have the rights to live action and X-Men films, so after Disney acquired Marvel Studios, they prioritized the Avengers. You ended up seeing a lot of these amazing X-Men TV shows dry up and disappear. You stopped seeing comics being marketed as much, you saw many less games being made,
That's very true.
and they ended up heavily pushing out characters that were featured in the MCU because it was a bit of a feedback loop that became mutually beneficial for propping up their own IP and what they had control over. So selling...
That's hella true. That's hella true. Only because, bro. Only because like literally, it was like during the Avengers, like 2012, when that first movie came out. After that came out is when Disney started rebranding like all their shows and shit. Like that was, I think, shortly after that movie, Agents of Shield came out, and Phil Coulson was alive and everything like that. And then also they had Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers Assemble, like in Ultimate Spider-Man. They literally had, bro. I'm pretty sure there was like two versions of Guardians of the Galaxy in Ultimate Spider-Man. Like they literally had the comic version, you know what I mean? The regular ones where they're all in their suits or whatever, their comic suits, and then Rocket has red eyes and everything like that, and he talks like like Rocket, like he talks normal like Rocket. And then later on in the show, like I think in the third season or second, maybe I think no, I think it's the third season, bro. When he meets up with them again, Rocket is all of a sudden exactly like the one from the movie, bro. He's exactly like him, which is sort of not really that different from the comics, but like his eyes are, normal, like a regular raccoon. I think they're white actually, if I'm not mistaken, but they're like a normal raccoon. They're not red anymore like they usually are. And then also Star-Lord he looks exactly like fucking Chris Pratt. He's not skinny as fuck like how he was a couple seasons ago, which I mean, is understandable, but like he looks exactly like Chris Pratt, bro. Like they just started Disneyifying all their characters in their shows. Like, and then they had that Avengers Assemble show strictly based on the one from the MCU, just a slightly bit different. Only because they had fucking Falcon. And Falcon was in the MCU, but he at least had his comic, like he at least had his comic suit. Like he at least had his comic accurate suit. But everybody else, like even fucking Hawkeye. Hawkeye looked exactly like Jeremy Renner, bro. Slick haircut, shades, tank top, bro, instead of a fucking the purple. Well, I guess he always had a tank top, but like still, like you know what I mean? He never had a mask or anything like that. So like it's just crazy how like they did that shit immediately as soon as they acquired Marvel, bro. They did that shit immediately. I know exactly what the fuck he's talking about because there was such a good shift in that shit like during that time, bro.
More merchandise as a result. And this makes complete sense from a business standpoint, but you're probably asking yourself, how does this have anything to do with Marvel Rivals? And the answer is it has everything to do with Marvel Rivals. Because after Disney acquired Fox in 2019, everything changed to now the floodgates being fully open on X-Men and mutant characters, and they're starting to finally emerge once again. Disney started its campaign to heavily push these characters and with the MCU kind of reaching a point of completion with Endgame, and being in a sort of a limbo with Phase 5, the studio has spent the last couple of years trying to find a way to rebuild the franchise with new characters, and we are seeing this in real time. Just the other day, they had hyped up the new X-Men casting, with all very young and
Okay, I mean this... Yes and no. Like, I mean, yes and no. Like, one, I can say, okay. I guess you could say yes because of the you can easily say yes because of Jean Grey. You know what I mean? Jean Grey being in Brand New Day. I mean, of course, they're trying to, incorporate their X-Men characters. They're trying to incorporate the X-Men into the MCU now that Jean Grey is in the MCU. and they're like slowly pushing out these older characters. Like when Secret Wars comes out, I'm assuming that's literally the whole reboot. So like once that shit comes out, bro, this is who their new X-Men slate is going to be. That's pretty much what that's I feel like that's why they, had to announce that shit, cuz once or they didn't have to announce it, I would say, but like it's not like if they were to announce it at Secret Wars, I feel like that would be a bit too late, right? If they did that next year, like if they announced it next year. And plus the movie comes out in 2028. So why would they announce the cast like less than a year? You know what I mean? Like less than a year when the movie comes out. I don't know, bro.
Prominent, very popular actors who get people talking. But the next thing is the very important part. They've also been doing this with Marvel Rivals and video games. So you see, I wouldn't blame you for thinking that Marvel Rivals has complete freedom. They do a lot of things off the cuff, and Disney, to their own credit,
You know what is crazy though? You know what is crazy? We haven't had we haven't had an Iron Man game since like I think 2012, 2011, around that time. My bad. Since around that time, and then also we haven't had an Incredible Hulk game since before 2010, I'm pretty sure. So what that nigga was just saying, what he was just saying prior, how the X-Men are being prioritized, like how Fox's characters are being prioritized now that Disney bought them in 2019, and it's being incorporated into TV shows, movies, video games, and merchandise. That's very true because they had the option to either they honestly could have done the Avengers. Like Insomniac could have done an Avengers game better than whoever made the last one. I don't even know who the fuck made it, but like they could have done an Avengers game or an Iron Man game, Hulk game. They could have finished, bro. Whatever happened to that fucking Captain America game, 1943 with Black Panther? Whatever happened with that? But they could have done something like that. They could have done something along the lines of that. But instead, they chose to focus on the X-Men. This nigga is spitting, bro. This nigga is spitting because you know who their golden child is? You know who their next game is, bro? Wolverine, bro. And you know who they got in that game? More mutants, bro. They got Sabretooth, they got Mystique, they got oh my god, what's his name? That's not Morph, is it? That's not Morph. It's some green guy. Some green guy from the X-Men. He's a new character, sort of, not really, but he's in the X-Men comics. I forgot his name, but he's green. That green guy, that little kid. And then also some other mutants in there too. That black lady too with the eye patch. I don't know who she's playing, but she's in it, and I don't know, she's probably a mutant too. So, that's totally this guy's actually, you know what? Oh, no, I'm gonna go ahead.
allows
I'm gonna go
NetEase
ahead and
to
be
have
like, bro,
creative
'cause this
control over
nigga's
many things,
this nigga's
including
spitting right
even
now.
being able to add their own characters. And while this is true, it's also a bit of a facade, because Marvel and Disney can still control and manipulate NetEase into prioritizing characters that they want added. Even Guang
True.
Guang let the mask slip a little bit in an interview by accident. He revealed that if he had complete freedom to add any character he wanted, he would put Ghost Rider in yesterday. This guy's one of the boys.
Wait, wait, wait,
But
wait, 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 wait. I'm down. Wait, wait, wait. Okay. Guang Guang. I take anything I've ever said bad about you back, bro. Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider.
oddly enough,
Imagine if we had Ghost Rider, dude. I would have rather had Ghost Rider. Okay, no shame or no hate towards her, but I would have rather had Ghost Rider than Jubilee. Much rather had Ghost Rider than Jubilee, because who the fuck wants to play a person that shoots out fireworks over fucking Ghost Rider, dude? Come the fuck
Ghost
on.
Rider is nowhere to be found, and we've had many teases and many hints about Ghost Rider coming into the game, and even some
Make it make
leaks,
sense, dude.
but he's
Make it
still
make
nowhere
sense.
to be found. He's still not in the game, even though he's the most requested character from the community. And after Marvel revealed Ryan Gosling would be playing the new Ghost Rider, it all starts to make sense. The reason we don't have Ghost Rider in the game yet is because
He's
Marvel
not
wants to wait a
in
bit
the.
closer to the new Ghost Rider movie getting marketed.
Yep.
And
Yep.
now with this context, we turn our gaze towards mutants. That's right. A representative who holds a connection with NetEase is probably part of the marketing team for Marvel and has been directing them to add mutant characters leading up to Doomsday, because a lot of mutant and X-Men characters are
That's
featured in
that's insane how that works, bro. That's insane how that works. This guy's spitting.
Doomsday and is basically just free marketing for the movie. But that's why almost every season leading up to the Avengers Doomsday movie and the Road to Doomsday that they've been marketing in the game has had a mutant character featured. The X-Men will be Marvel's next big obsession. Okay, there's a joke there because the actress playing Rogue
Wow.
is the girl from Obsession. I'm sorry, I just couldn't resist.
Dude, she's got a crazy ass break. Like dude, this is her breakout summer. Like this is literally her breakout summer. Like she literally, I was told, hold up. My bad. But anyways, I was told from one of my friends that she was apparently a COD streamer before, like just a streamer, beforehand. And then, her and these, other people, got together, made the movie, and now she's gonna be showcasing the new Call of Duty. She's in the next fucking X-Men movie. She's on podcasts with hella people. Like, dude, that is insane. Like, she's having a crazy ass year, bro.
And I think the reason many people have such an adverse reaction to seeing X-Men getting added to the game so frequently is because they've been used to the Avengers being in the spotlight of the IP for so long. Because Disney has actively suppressed mutants for years, and people don't even know how big of a deal they are in Marvel. Like, listen to this. They make up a whopping 30% of the most recognizable villains and heroes. That's a rough statistic, but they are a huge part of Marvel regardless. So let's answer the question here. Should Marvel Rivals pull back on adding mutant characters next year? Well, it really depends on how many we're actually getting in the year time frame. And I think it may be a bit blown out of proportion when you actually take a step back and consider how many we get in a year, because the actual numbers are quite surprising. The way people talk about the subject, you think that we're getting 1 million X-Men every year, but that's simply not the case. So I'd like to ask you a question. What amount of mutant characters do you think is appropriate over the course of a year or the course of 6 seasons in Marvel Rivals are okay to add? Like, how many do you think is alright over the 12-month period to add? I personally think somewhere between 3 to 4 a year is a good medium that makes everybody happy and leaves plenty of rooms for other characters to get added from the group. You could probably even argue me down to maybe 2 a year.
Amen.
But so long as nothing changes, we should be getting around 12 characters added to the game, and 3 or 4 of them being a mutant isn't really a big deal, especially when you consider that there are plenty of mutant characters who are
I was actually not eating spaghetti.
Also villains, which would do a lot in the way of
spaghetti. I was eating bulldog noodles. I ate the whole fucking sauce pack too, bro. Because I'm like that.
Giving more representation to people's biggest criticism of Marvel Rivals being there isn't enough villains. But let's actually take a second and look at the numbers. This game launched with 5 mutant/X-Men related characters. You've got Magneto, Psylocke, Magic, Storm, and Wolverine. Then throughout 2025, we got an extra 4 of them. We got Emma Frost, Rogue, Phoenix, and
Namor's a mutant?
Gambit. And now in 2026, we know we're getting about 3. Cyclops, Jubilee, with Nightcrawler coming up next season. And if you count Deadpool as an X-Men related character, even though he's not a mutant, that would put us to 4. And then if you're listening and believing the rumors about Dazzler, that would bring us up to 5. But I personally don't think that Deadpool should be counted in this, and I know if I don't bring him up, other people will, but let's be real, he exists in his own caliber. And as far as Dazzler is concerned, we have no definitive way of knowing if she'll actually be added in Season 11. And I'm not making this up either. Like, every week I'll open up a social media platform and I'll see people complaining about how many X-Men are getting added to the game. But if we only get 3 or 4 X-Men a year, or mutant characters in general a year, I really don't see a big problem with that. That's around 25 or 30% of the characters that will actually come in a year, which aligns perfectly with my previous stated statistic that I mentioned about how many prominent characters and popular characters in Marvel are mutants. I like to point out that people are rightfully pointing out the favoritism of X-Men, but not in the way you think. It's not numbers that's the actual problem, it's how closely they've been getting released. Like I mentioned before, we've been getting back-to-back mutants
Yes.
every
Oh my
season,
God. Wait,
and
that's
we're set to
come on.
have that, and I think people are really feeling it when every season you get at least one mutant character for 3 seasons. It can start to feel old, and they feel very forced, cramped, and smooshed into the tail end of 2026, and I believe that's where most people have a problem. It's a recency bias. So how do we solve
Yes,
this problem?
bro.
Well, it comes down to a very simple answer. Space out mutant character
Yeah.
releases. Maybe instead of
What
what
did
we're
I
currently
say?
getting where
What did I
every
say?
other character is a mutant, we get
Bro.
one at the start of the year, maybe one through the middle of the year, and one at the end. But the bigger way to solve this problem is to give some love to other groups and factions that are really suffering. The biggest
Yes,
group
bro.
being
Like, come
unrepresented
on.
is villains. And we talked about this in length last week,
Oh
but
my
it should be
God.
a crime that we don't have more Spider-Man villains. And let's cross our fingers here
Oh
that
my
if the
God. Look at
teases
that
and rumors
though.
are right, next year is going to be a massive year for villains. But other groups that need some representation are the Avengers. Like, where is Ant-Man? Where's the Wasp? The devs have been testing their growth and shrink mechanics for a year in the game. If we are to believe that the devs are actively being kind of forced in a way, or maybe told by Disney to prioritize characters that are going to be more prominently featured in the Avengers movie,
That's fucked up. Like, that's completely fucked up, bro. Like, that's actually completely fucked up, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
then this all starts to make sense. And it means that maybe there is a solution on the horizon. Maybe next year will be looking a bit different. I just hope that the devs kind of get a good read on how the community feels and don't end up adding back-to-back mutant releases. And I would personally love that, you know. Like I said, I'm a mutant propagandist, but I'm speaking on behalf of both sides, not just myself. And I want the community to be happy at large. Another point that we need to remember here is next year is not going to be a drought for mutants either. I've talked about this before, but
I
they've
can hear
teased
the
a bunch of
Canadian.
X-Men to come to the game,
Oh
and
my
they have
God.
yet to make their appearance. And also, we talked all about the things with Apocalypse. When he rises, he's not going to be alone. He's going to have 3 other horsemen who are going to accompany him. I'm really hoping that they're not all just going to release back to back to back. That would be really lame, and I think a lot of people would be really upset. But now it's your turn. Do you think there are too many mutants in the game? If we get 3 to 4 mutants in a year,
Dude,
is
I
that too
mean,
much?
nah, like, nah, he kind of already, we kind of already said the same shit. Like, bro, that has spaced that shit out because it is, wow. Like, when you even put it into perspective, bro, like, I deadass didn't even realize that we've actually gotten 3 mutant characters this year. And then we got Emma. And then I think it was like, yeah, like 2 more last year. Like, and then we've already had 5 in there, bro. Honestly, bro, dude. Facto mundo. Facto mundo. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you. Honestly. Y'all go follow Jordanary30 on Twitch, bro. Go follow him, rate his chat, bro. Do whatever y'all want to do, bro. But like dead ass, bro. Cause what the fuck? Nah, but dead ass though. I mean, only real players, only real Marvel Rivals players know, bro. Only real Rivals players know, bro. I also wanted to watch this shit real quick just because, I mean, something different. It's something different, bro. And I feel like it's not that long. So, actually, no. I'll watch this first and then I'll watch the next one. How about that? Yep.
Acids and bases, but to have fun exploring acids and bases. If you want your kids to experience the magic of KiwiCo and support our channel, click the link in the description or use my code ROCKSTAR in Warfare. So really, we're going to see about her or the rest of the mutants back in San
There we
Diego.
go.
But now
I
that
wonder
we
who
all
watched this.
know she's playing Jean Grey for the MCU, our man was ready to share more details about the upcoming X-Men film. So now Kevin Feige brought out X-Men director Jake Schreier to talk about this upcoming X-Men film and gave us a new logo of just this yellow
I was gonna
X
say
on
that
black. No
that looks very like that looks very MCU-esque. of X-Men, bro. So like I think I'm ready, bro. I'm ready for the X-Men Incorporated.
Noticeably different from the Red
Ready for
X
them
of
to
the OG
incorporate 'em.
X-Men that we're about to see in Avengers Doomsday. Schreier confirmed that Marvel Studios X-Men will release on May 5th, 2028. So yup, that's 3 MCU movies coming in 2028. X-Men on May 5th, 2028, Ghost Rider probably on July 28th, 2028, and Black
July?
Panther 3 on December 15th, 2028.
Ooh, I'm actually liking it, bro. We back to getting original movies. Well, I mean Black Panther 3, I mean, I just want bro. Black Panther 3, I want T'Challa's son to already be grown up, bro. I want whoever was cuz that guy that was cast as Black Panther, I need him to already be in the suit damn near, bro. I need him to be I need him to be already in the suit. I'm not saying like Shuri was bad, but I'm sick of not seeing our our regular Black Panther, bro. Like, oh my god, bro. I don't know. It just sucks because we've literally it was so perfect with Chadwick, and then he just passed away, bro. And then, but no, dead ass though. We gotta
2028. Kevin Feige described Sadie Sink's Jean Grey as the founding member of the X-Men. I think he
what? Wait, I don't remember him saying this. Wait, hold on.
on July 28th, 2028, and Black Panther 3 on December 15th, 2028. Kevin Feige described Sadie Sink's Jean Grey as the founding member of the X-Men. I think he was referring to her comic history as a member of
makes
the
sense.
OG squad as Marvel Girl, but
That
she
makes
may
sense.
also be part of the leadership of this new team in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or rather the ones that have been cast so far.
So-
of this new team
Look at that, bro. So this is Storm. I love her as Storm. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what everybody's hating on her for. She looks gorgeous. I feel like she's gonna be a wonderful Storm, bro. And then definitely better, definitely, indefinitely better than what's her name? Not Halle Berry, but the one who played after her, bro. I don't know. Like, but then again, she wasn't given a good script, bro. It's not her fault.
in the
But,
Marvel Cinematic Universe.
And then she's obviously playing Rogue. That's the girl from Obsession, Indy, I think her name is. And then I don't know her name, but I'm pretty sure she's playing Emma Frost. Emma Frost. So yeah.
Or rather,
And then this guy,
they're the ones that have been
I don't
cast
know.
so
Like
far.
this guy, I just can't see him as Professor X, bro. It's like the same. It's high key the same situation as when what's his name was cast as Reed Richards, like Pedro Pascal. Like I was just like, dude, what the fuck? Like, dude, what the fuck? You could have casted anybody else, and you casted Pedro Pascal. He's not he's not a bad actor. He is definitely not a bad actor, but like I just cannot see him in this role. And like I'm still not really getting it, but not gonna lie though, in that trailer when he was like, "Did you do this?" Like I was lucky, like, okay, this guy, okay, all right, you're starting to sell me, and all right, you're starting to sell me. All right, I'm starting to buy what you're selling. Okay, so I'll give you that. Anyways,
He
Go ahead and do
said,
this shit.
specifically hinted at the fact that there will be others forthcoming, actors playing perhaps Beast, Iceman, Wolverine, Magneto. But here's the rest of the cast.
like, okay, sorry, this is the last pause for a while, but who do y'all think they're gonna cast as Wolverine? Who are they gonna cast as Wolverine? Like, I mean, they could use Henry Cavill, but he's already getting old. Like, how old was Hugh Jackman when he started? He was like I think he was like 28 or 30 in the first one. And then, obviously like in his early 30s and shit. But like Henry Cavill's already 40. Like I'm pretty sure he's already 40. So yeah, you see the cast, dude. I'm certain that we can find a much younger actor who's in his early, maybe mid 20s. I'm certain we can find one. Like, can we stop finding actors that are in their like mid 30s, maybe late 30s, kind of aging out to play a role? Like, dude, it sucks. It sucks so bad. It sucks so bad that the Fox, didn't want to have Gambit in X-Men. And when they did, he was ass. Nigga was ass. Nigga was ass. Like, and then Channing Tatum, as soon as he gets his spotlight as fucking Gambit, bros, everybody loves him. Like, he's literally been fan casted. He's always wanted to play Gambit, and as soon as he gets the chance, everybody loves him. So Fox definitely dropped the ball on that. I'm not gonna lie. Like we could have had a Channing Tatum Gambit early on, and now this guy's aging out. I feel kind of bad, but at least he's in Doomsday. I was really hoping they were gonna bring him back, and especially after they did after Deadpool and Wolverine, they'd had to. Like after Deadpool and Wolverine, they had to bring him back. And you know what? I'm not gonna lie. At this point, I'd rather them bring Wesley Snipes Blade back, bro. I'd rather them bring Wesley Snipes back as Blade, and then well, I mean, all those other people are cool, but like if you know if they're having everybody, you know what I mean, they should have Wesley Snipes Blade in there, bro. I'm not gonna lie, just because if we're not even gonna fucking get started with the fucking Blade movie with Marshall Ali, then I mean, like, what the fuck? What the fuck is the point, right? What the fuck is the point?
Along with Sadie Sink as Jean Grey. We got Kit Connor as Scott Summers, Cyclops.
I feel like
he
he'll
was
be
also
good.
reported earlier this
feel like
month.
he'll be
He's
good.
best known for roles in Heartstopper and Warfare. So really,
Never
we're gonna
heard
see
of
a
any
lot
of
of
those.
scenes with Kit Connor and Sadie
He
Sink.
was in the
Kind
Long
of
Walk.
growing up together on
Actually, wait,
screen.
I'm pretty sure he was in. It was either him. I'm pretty sure it was him that was in the Long Walk. Kit Connor. I'm pretty sure it was him.
And big news here at the panel, Christopher Abbott will be playing the MCU's Professor Charles Xavier. It's an interesting choice. The 40-year-old actor is best known for playing Charlie on Girls and across Julia Garner in the more recent Wolfman movie. For many of you, this is going to seem like a younger Charles Xavier than you might have expected. But despite Patrick Stewart's iconic take on the character, Charles is not really an older man that he may be in
Yeah,
your
that
head.
is
He's really
always
just a
kinda
dude in
funny.
his 40s when the rest of the X-Men are like in their 20s and 30s. Also, Christopher Abbott is American, and in the Patrick Stewart, James McAvoy era, they just had to commit to the character being an
Yeah.
Englishman who was raised in New York, but he's supposed to be a character who was born in New York City and raised in Westchester County. I'm excited to see what they do, and Christopher Abbott, say goodbye to that hair. Samara Weaving is playing Emma Frost from the
she
Ready
looks-
or Not
she looks
films,
nice. I
playing
think
the
she'll play a good
indestructible
Emma
diamond-skinned telepath and founding member of the Hellfire Club. The fact that Samara Weaving is in her 30s and a lot of these other actors are in their 20s makes me think that she's already gone through the whole Massachusetts Institute where a lot of her students were killed. Indy Navarrete as Rogue. Yes, Indy Navarrete from Obsession, the breakout star of this summer.
Indy Navarrete.
I love this casting. I know a lot of people were speculating Kaylee Spaney, but I never really loved the talk of Indy as playing Mystique, just because that really would have been a replay of the era of Jennifer Lawrence.
Her okay, wait, hold on. Her as Mystique would have been fire though. Her okay, I'm not like, dude, not even joshing on the fucking Rogue casting, but her as Mystique would have been fire.
As Mystique, for whatever reason, just becoming the star of everything X-Men. And Mystique never really should be that central of a figure. And I just think they're so
Okay. Okay. I know what he means when he says that, because in Days of Future Past, it was Mystique that was, the one who inevitably caused the, Trask to bring the Sentinels, all the extinction, you know what I mean, the future. And then I think it was the other movie, I think with Dark Phoenix, where she was, Mystique was the one that was trying to calm Jean down, and she ended up dying. And I was like, all right, man. But she would have been a perfect Mystique, dude. I'm not gonna lie.
many more things that Indy can do as Rogue. Specifically, look out, Carol Danvers. She's about to put you in an energy-sapped coma. And then that brings us to Maya Boyd as Storm, Aurora Monroe. Maya Boyd is a relative unknown, 23 years old, and this will be her first on-screen acting
She's my age.
credit after stage roles in Merrily We Go Along and Juliet. I'm assuming
Damn. That's insane. She's my age. Well, I'm 22, but like she's still my age, bro. That's crazy. That's crazy. I gotta step it the fuck up.
she
I
had
gotta
a
step it up.
hell of an audition. And also they probably just saw her on stage and are like, she's super talented, let's give her a shot. But I also think they might have cast an unknown in part to help
I love the fact that they did cast an unknown, because like it's insane. Like there's also a running thing in Hollywood where they like literally when fucking Chris Pratt was announced as Garfield in Super Mario, like it's always these people that are just fucking these Hollywood directors and executives that just keep casting celebrities and not voice actors or not real actors. Like they just cast celebrities, bro. And it's like, all right. But like, I'm not gonna lie, these actors are celebrities. But like, it's sometimes they just literally cast celebrities for certain roles, or like people that they know are gonna, have box office sales. But like, I'm glad that they're taking a chance on her because like her, I'm glad that they're taking a chance on her. And I guess you can count Indy Navarrete because I mean, besides Obsession, there's literally nothing else that she's been in. So you know what I mean. I'm glad they have her. A bunch of other people too, like uh that one guy. Fuck the guy from the Black Panther. Black Panther. I'm glad they cast him too. I think his name is David, but yeah, I'm glad they cast him too. He's been in the Long Walk, also Alien Romulus and shit, but like he's really good. Like he's still underrated, I feel, in my opinion. Like I'm glad they're actually casting unknown people. Like it feels really genuine. It feels like because I mean, I guess you can't really say, like the same thing for, any major Marvel movie like that beforehand. Um, I guess you could say maybe Black Panther. Black Panther, like Chadwick Boseman was, he's fairly known at the time, and then also, what's his name? The girl who played Shiri, like I'm pretty sure she wasn't known. Only people I feel were actually like known in that show. I mean, movie were Chadwick Boseman, Forrest Whitaker, what's her name? Angela Bassett. Well, I mean, obviously, fucking Michael B. Jordan. Yeah, like a bunch. Yeah, there's like a certain amount of people, but like I feel like Shuri was perfectly casted. Okoye was also perfectly casted. Like there's just a good amount of people that I feel like they cast to unknown actors, and it just feels genuine. Like it feels genuine. Like I'm not watching a fucking. Like I'm not watching, like how they casted RDJ as Doctor Doom. Like it's not like I'm watching, Iron Man or RDJ as Doctor Doom. I want to watch Doctor Doom. Like,
Oh, Ryan Coogler developed the character. Yeah, don't be surprised if we see this character known and just saw her on stage and
Wait,
are like, she's super talented. Let's give her a
What?
shot. But I also think they might have cast an unknown in part to help Ryan Coogler develop the character. Yeah, don't be surprised if we see this character in Black Panther 3 later in that year.
okay. Wait, oh shit. Oh shit.
Video of Adam Driver.
AD23, if Michael told me to show up for X-Men, I just assumed you meant on set. So instead of being with you all there in California, I'm here. You're kind of in this very lonely soundstage. Kevin and I have been talking for years about maybe joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think we finally found the perfect film at the perfect time with characters I care very deeply about. So I'm very excited to be playing the role of Magneto. Well, again, right. Even better. Nathaniel Milbury. So, I'll be right here.
It's crazy how I bet you like 80% of the people in the crowd, including me, 80% of the people in the crowd did not know who the fuck Nathaniel Millsbury is, bro.
Waiting for everybody to show up. Enjoy your weekend, D23.
Thanks to KiwiCo for sponsoring today's video. Tablet or
I'm sorry.
and twisted and awesome. It really all started with a man named Nathaniel Essex, a scientist living in 19th century Victorian England, obsessed with genetics. He identifies a series of Essex factors that he believes proves that mankind is on the precipice of an evolutionary leap forward. Essex ends up making 3 clones of himself, and one of them becomes the most evil version of himself, going by the moniker Mr. Sinister. But not all the time. People would start to catch on to how evil he was, So, sometime in the 1880s, 1890s, after the death of Charles Darwin, he relocates to America, where he takes on the name of Nathaniel Milbury and begins working out of the Milbury house to experiment on the mutant deviants of society. So what makes Mr. Sinister's origin so twisted is the fact that it was partially impacted by various instances of time travel. Yes, X-Men comics are kind of all about time travel
That's
and
very
making
true.
it as complicated as possible, which
That's
often
also
comes up
very
in the
true.
X-Men animated continuity as well. But time travel in X-Men is far from dumb. It's actually very overthought and actually logically logically sound in a way that I find very pleasing. So arguably what made Nathaniel Essex as interested in genetic science as he was is at some point Scott Summers and Jean Grey go back in time to Victorian England to stop Apocalypse, who also loves traveling through time, and Essex just kind of becomes obsessed with these two's genetics and future bloodline. You know, the way people are pairing Sadie Sink and Kit Connor and just kind of obsessing over that chemistry. And because Scott and Jean were trying to stop Apocalypse on that mission, Mr. Sinister ends up running into Apocalypse and becomes his servant, and Apocalypse uses his celestial technology to transform Sinister into his iconic white-skinned appearance, giving him an extended lifespan and really regenerative capabilities. There's also an instance where Gambit has time traveled back to Mr. Sinister's time, where we learn that Sinister got his shapeshifting abilities from the blood of a mutant shapeshifter named Courier. So Mr. Sinister does not age normally. He is immune to normal human aging and disease. He's old. He's been around for a while. So in Driver's video, when he quipped that he would be waiting for everyone to join him on the soundstage, it may have also just been a joke that Milbury, aka Sinister, was just waiting for these X-Men to arrive on the scene all this time. Mr. Sinister is one X-Men villain that has never been adapted into live action. Sinister was originally going to be the plan in the late Fox era X-Men films. X-Men Apocalypse ended with the post-credit scene showing some corporate goons harvesting Wolverine's blood in a suitcase marked Essex Corp, a reference to Sinister's better-known alias of Nathaniel Essex. That scene was set in the year 1983 or sometime after it. And then in the 2020 New Mutants film, the hospital facility of that film, where the mutants were experimented on by Dr. Cecilia Reyes, was originally intended to be connected in some way to that same Essex Corporation. And the director even said that there were some plans to shoot a post-credit scene in which John Hamm would be playing Mr. Sinister. Sinister was going to be the next major villain of that next era of X-Men films before Disney's acquisition of Fox. But the Mr. Sinister played by Adam Driver in this X-Men film directed by Jake Schreier will not exactly carry out that same plan. So what is the plan for the character? Well, Spider-Man Brand New Day already kind of clued us into it. The Mutant saga is gonna begin as a conversation around genetics and gene therapy, suppression of mutant genes, and just overall playing God to try to control those genes. And playing God with genetic science is what Mr. Sinister is all about. Peter Parker and Bruce Banner have been implied as the Albert Einstein and J. Robert Oppenheimer behind the invention of the mutant inhibitor collar. But now I'm wondering if the DODC and Bill Metzger in Spider-Man Brand New Day might have been working in partnership with some scientists that they didn't realize was actually a very, very old, creepy man using the technology they were gathering for some more nefarious goals. A DODC scientist named N. Milbury, who's actually in secret Mr. Sinister. It could be Mr. Sinister, who's obsessed with Jean Grey's brain and telepathic powers, and before her sister Sarah. And it could be Mr. Sinister, who wanted to try to replicate those powers to try to recreate the powers in the mind of another. Because truly, Metzger and whoever he was working with would need another mutant, and someone they genetically identified as a mutant to successfully replicate that. And they would need a scientist in their ranks somewhere who is way ahead of them and already coming up with the whole taxonomy and classification system for the mutant gene. Someone who has been working on it for over 100 years. Someone sinister. So how will Jake Schreier's X-Men film use Mr. Sinister? I think by introducing Jean Grey first and making Sinister the first big bad. Just don't be surprised if this first movie explores the storyline that we saw the end of in X-Men 97 Season 1, the Goblin Queen storyline with Jean Grey's clone, Madeline Pryor. Dude, I think
that was so fucking confusing. Like, that was so confusing when I first watched that shit, bro. I was actually so
continuing the experiment Metzger was doing to Jean in Brand New Day will be how Sinister gets to that clone of Madeline. Now, I don't think we're gonna get the full sexy Goblin Queen storyline this early in the Mutant Saga, but I think they are gonna plant the seeds in this first film and come back to it later. Just don't be surprised if there's a post-credit scene where we find out Adam Driver clone Sadie Sink and name that clone Madeline. So I think Milbury will present himself to the US government authorities as a scientist who claims to want to help these authorities just identify mutants in the population for the purpose of containment and order. But then we're going to find out that he just wants to experiment on them for his own freaky projects. I think Jake Schreier's X-Men movie is going to deal a lot in identifying and hunting young mutants and just really talking about whether their genetic expressions should be celebrated or hidden. And while Adam Driver will play Sinister, I think this cast is overall just incomplete right now. Like, one thing that I learned from being on the ground at D23 is that these deals are being fiercely negotiated up until the last minute. Like, they specifically use these events and these announcements as a way to kind of expedite the process. and both sides of that negotiation pressure each other into taking a higher number or a lower number. And if they reach an impasse, black SUV just doesn't pick up that person from their house and drive them down to Anaheim. Like literally, that's why they start 30 minutes late. It's because they're on the phone with the agents. So all of this is to say, I think there is room for a Magneto in this story because Sinister is an
That's actually
unaging
crazy how that
weirdo
works,
from the
bro.
late 19th century. Magneto could be the one who remembers this scientist from the horrors that he went through in World War II. Maybe Wolverine will remember as well. I think we're about to find out that there was a James Logan Howlett who fought in World War II in the MCU history and joined in the Weapons Plus program to replicate Steve Rogers' Super Soldier program that resulted in this man with metal claws fighting in a bar brawl in this MCU history that only She-Hulk had the bravery to reference. The question I'm left with is, how sassy and campy will this movie allow Adam Driver to play the character of Sinister? Because Mr. Sinister is a total sass queen. Like, here are a few examples of this dude in X-Men 97.
Show me. Show me my face.
Looks the same to me. You have nothing to fear so long as you place your faith in Sinister.
So is this what Adam Driver is signing up to do? Are we going to see Adam Driver with the white skin appearance of the character and the red eyes? I mean, Kevin Feige is on a comic accuracy kick. Or by saying Nathaniel Milbury, is that just kind of a signal to all of us that he's playing a somewhat grounded facade of that freak? Comment down below with your thoughts, and a special thanks to one of our underground subscribers, Ricardo Martinez.
I hate when they make some grounded shit, or like, bro, like me personally, I'm a fucking Snyder hater, bro. I do not fuck with the Snyderverse, dude. Their plan to save Blade, bro, that shit is not getting saved, bro. That shit is not getting saved, bro. I just know it's not. I just know it's not. It's not getting saved. Ooh, also, I gotta fucking watch Lanterns. I gotta watch Lanterns. Fuck. Okay. Should we do a trivia? Should we do a trivia?